Rodney Akins with RDA Security Training. Do you have problems with your shots going maybe high or low or left or right? Most times it's because of trigger anticipation, or what we call jerking the trigger. But it could also be your grip. So today I'm going to demonstrate the proper way to grip a handgun. Now the very first thing we want to do, we always assume every single weapon is loaded, so we want to make sure that it's clear and safe. The magazine has already been removed. I lock that slide to the rear, do a physical and visual inspection that my weapon is clear, safe, and empty. Let that slide go forward, discharge that trigger. Now my weapon is safe. So when talking about a grip, whether you're drawing from the holster or just picking it up off the table at the range to put some rounds on a target, the very first thing we want to remember is I want the web of my hand between my thumb and first finger as high up on that grip tang as possible. I don't want it riding low because the gun is always going to take the path of least resistance. So if my hand has space in between it and the tang, the gun wants to rock back. So what I want to do is get the web of that hand as high up on that grip tang as possible. I don't want any space, any daylight in between my hand and the back of the weapon. I wrap those fingers around and I get a good, tight, firm grip. Now the next thing that I want to do is take that support hand and I'm going to marry it to my strong hand. I'm not going to let it be down low or have a big space in there because again, the gun is going to take that path of least resistance. So if my grip is low, if my grip is staggered, when I fire the gun, it's going to want to go in a direction where it has no support. So what I want to do is try to get my hands to touch. Now you may or may not be able to do that based on the size of your hands, of course, or even based on the size of the grip on the weapon that you're dealing with. But what I try to do is get the backs of my hands to touch. I'm going to wrap those 4 fingers around, lay that thumb along the slide, rest that strong hand thumb right on top. And that's what my grip looks like. Place the web between your thumb and first finger as high up on the grip tang as possible. Then take your support hand and wrap it around. Try to get the backs of your hands to touch. Squeeze nice and tight. As much hand on the gun as possible. The more hand I have on the gun, the more control I will have of the gun. Now once I get that grip, I'm going to drive that weapon to the target, bringing the gun to my eyes, not my head down to the gun. I see a lot of shooters, when they aim out, they crouch down, they drop their head down to the gun. You've already dropped 6 inches on your target. If my head is here, the target is there, I bring the gun up to where my eyes are, not the other way around. Now my entire life, as I was learning and I've been taught to shoot, it was always lock those shoulders out, drive those arms straight to the target, lock those elbows, and that's the way that we fire. But what we've come to find out over the last few years is that if you do that, you're actually fighting the recoil a lot more than you have to. If I drive the gun, lock elbows, shoulders rolled front, tight, the gun wants to do this. And now I have to fight it back down and get back on target. Not to mention, if I have to shoot for a sustained amount of time, I'm actually wearing my shoulders and my arms out. But what we found out now is that if you just put a slight break in those elbows, now your recoil is much more easier to manage. Because what happens now is the slide runs back and forth instead of the gun going up and down. So just that slight break, that will help you with that recoil as it moves back and forth, and it allows you to stay on target a lot easier. Another thing that it also does is I want to make sure that my grip is tight. I'm not doing 50-50, I'm not doing 70-30, I'm not doing 60-40. I don't know about you, my hands aren't able to do math. So this hand doesn't know what 60% feels like, this hand definitely doesn't know what 40% feels like, but I know what tight feels like. So I grip that gun as tight as I need to make sure that it doesn't move. And what I mean by that is when I squeeze that trigger, I want the gun to do this. I don't want it going left, right, up, down, or in any other direction. So I get a good tight grip, I focus on my front sight, I squeeze that trigger straight back and allow the gun to do what it needs to do. As with anything, the only thing that's going to build that skill is repetition. So get out to the range, try that new grip, drop a comment below to let me know how it works out for you.